Back pain.
Okay, welcome to another edition of Caribbean Close-Up, produced by Carib Direct. And this week we've got the lovely Marla Brown, daughter of the famous Dennis Brown, with us. Welcome, Marla.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Give us an idea as to what your early recollections were of your dad.
Mainly of us all being at home, playing that whole Brady Bunch lifestyle, singing, dancing, catching everything on video. But just mainly having fun and just living life and living it in love, as we did as the Brown family.
Okay. Was that here in the UK?
Yeah,
or
here in the UK.
Here in the UK?
Yeah.
Okay.
Enfield, to be exact.
Okay. And when did it dawn upon you that your dad was actually a superstar?
Probably at the funeral, mainly because when Dad was at home, he was just our dad. We knew that he was always in the studio because we used to go with him. But it was only when he died and laying him down and the amount of people, the crowds that came to Heroes Park also, that's when I realised, wow, like all these people love my dad. As much as we do. Obviously we would love him more, but just as much through his music. So probably then.
Okay. And did his stardom, while he was still with you, affect the way your relationship developed?
Obviously because he was on tour a lot, it did affect it in that sense, but when he was there, it was like he never did leave us. So he kind of made up for his absence.
And did he have an influence on what you do now as a career?
Definitely. I'm a trained dancer, so I do ballet, street and contemporary, so the whole entertainment factor. All of my brothers and sisters, we all are gifted with the voice. So we all sing, or my brother Jason, he produces his own music, writes his own music. Soon to be releasing that soon, sometime this year also. I'm currently singing also, working on my own project, the tribute album for my dad, along with my sister Dina. So we've all kind of grasped that entertainment factor from Dad, right, and used it.
So I imagine obviously there's a heavy influence from him. Do you play instruments? Did you?
I used to, not at the moment. Daniel, he's more gifted. He's currently doing classical music, but he's got the guitar, piano, keyboard, flute, cello. He's that musical aspect.
Now, I recall your dad being called the Prince of Reggae by Bob Marley. How did he actually respond to that? I mean, did he actually behave in a way that suggested he was a prince?
Not even. Dad was very normal and he just laughed and he was very humble. He was never overtly confident. He just loved what he did. And to be praised like that and with that kind of title, he kind of just embraced it and just continued on producing good, well music.
That's great. So apart from his music, what else was he passionate about that you can remember?
Family, mainly family and unity amongst everyone across the world. It was more about doing right, religion, because obviously he was a Rastafarian also. So very strong in that aspect of things. But I'd say pretty much unity amongst the world, and just sharing that through love and prosperity, pretty much.
So I guess that would be the legacy that he would have wanted to have left behind, the fact that he was one who believed in unity and seeing people live together in harmony and so
definitely
on.
That. And to kind of just appreciate one another, what God's blessed us with in life, and make do, because obviously growing up in Jamaica, everyone knows life's hard out there, but you kind of gain that, you become more of an adult at a younger age, and I think Dad grasped that really well. From 9 years old, he's had to grow himself, and for him to do that, we have to look at that and say, wow, we can actually do that as well.
Okay. So who were the characters, musical characters or talented musicians at the time who you can recall coming to the house and
oh gosh,
interacting?
Now that I know their names, well, we've obviously had Freddie McGregor, Beres Hammond, Gregory Isaacs, so many. We've met so many celebrities along our journey of life. Pretty much everyone. Our door was always open for everyone because that's how we were and that's how we are been brought up. So we kind of embrace everyone.
So the fact that he was a bit of a celebrity, did that cause you pressure at school, you and your brothers and your siblings?
Not so much. Everyone knew our dad was a singer. The only difference was when people were going to bed for school, we would be going to the studio with him rather than going to bed for school. But not so much, to be honest. It didn't affect us. It was more of a wow factor for many people to know that we had a father that was in the limelight like that. But we were just normal. Everything was normal. We went to school, like it was just normal. We had normal friends. We did normal things. We went to a lot of shows and stuff, but that was the norm for us. We didn't think any different of it.
Right. So how are you keeping his legacy alive?
Just every day playing his music, doing interviews, radio, travelling, festivals, just making sure people embrace that continuously, which they do, which we're very thankful for.
Okay. Now he did a song, Let Me Be the One, I believe was his greatest hit. How did he respond when he saw people's response to it?
From what I can remember, it was always just that appreciation. He was always happy, and to see that people are appreciating his music, because that's all he wanted to do, just communicate through his music. He was just very thankful.
And he got an award. I think it was conferred upon him by the Jamaica government, Order of Distinction. And how did he, in your recollection, respond to that?
Well, we only got that last year. Dad was awarded that in October.
Okay.
My mum collected that on behalf of him.
Oh, that was posthumously?
Yeah. It was a beautiful service. It was at the King's House in Kingston, Jamaica. It was amazing. The recognition on that level, he should have got it sooner, but obviously all in good time.
Yes.
All in good time.
So I imagine there was a great turnout from a lot of local and maybe regional performers and entertainers and whatnot.
There was a tribute show after. Can't recall the name of the place. Myself and my sister also sang there. But it was amazing turnout. Amazing. Even not normal people, but residents of Kingston. They were allowed to come down. So there were other people being awarded for things, but Dad was for his contribution to the music industry, and the only one. So it was amazing.
Great. Now you've set up, or the family has set up, a Dennis Brown Trust. Tell us about that.
It's not actually set up by the family. It was when Dad did die. His partner in music, Junior Lincoln, set up the trust. My mum is on the committee, so when we go to Jamaica yearly. It's basically, It's basically, they put on shows and events for sponsorship to gain money for scholarships, sponsorship for kids, so buy instruments and stuff like that, just to kind of keep them, what's the word?
Meaningfully engaged.
Yes. Because obviously it's hard to gain money and stuff like that, because they're not really a well-off country. So to have Dad and to have that and the kids to embrace that, because all the kids, they know who Dad is, because we do a lot of school trips. So we go to the schools, we give them stationery, books, encyclopedias, pens, pencils, that kind of stuff. But they all know Dad. They all recognise him. They've got posters, everything there. So that's pretty much what the trust is: scholarships and sponsorship.
Right. So
through events.
As far as you know, are there any major plans that the trust,
Not that I know of. Not at the moment. No. They've just had one for Dad's birthday just gone. That was at Orange Street party. That was a success. Over 5,000 people, I'm corrected, that turned up for that.
Wow.
And it was a free event in the early afternoon, and then it turned into a street party. So where that money goes, it's going to the kids, which is good.
And DEB Internet radio station, is that yours?
No, I haven't heard of that.
You haven't heard of it? Okay, because I think I found some information about DEB Internet radio station that I thought might have been associated with the trust itself.
No.
So what's happening with you now? Tell us about you, what you're doing, what the plans are, and so forth.
Okay, I'm currently putting together a tribute album for Dad with well-known artists from the UK, from the USA also. Whitney Houston was supposed to be on it also.
Oh dear.
The song she did with Wyclef, Your Love Is My Love, she actually did a shout out to Dad. So I kind of wanted to feature that also, but obviously she's left us now. But she was going to participate, got Mary J. Blige, Chris Brown, obviously the Marleys, because we're very close with them. So the Marley brothers are going to be on there, myself, my brothers. But that's what we're doing at the moment. That's in play. So we're looking for in a year's time, we should be able to present that.
Right. So
but it's still under wraps.
It's on the wraps, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I imagine our viewers would have been the first to hear about it.
Yeah, they were. Well, they were the ones that selected the tracks. So it was obviously the radio interviews that I had done in Jamaica and over here, Twitter, Facebook, all the social networking. I put out a post and said, what songs would you like to hear on a tribute album? So we kind of drew from that. But obviously then we had to find out what label it was on and stuff like that. So there was a lot of homework that I had to do in order to prep that. But all God's blessed me, and I'm finally able to go forward with it. So
right. So what part does Jason play in all of this?
Jason is pretty much like my dad. He doesn't speak a lot, but he knows what he's doing. He knows what he wants, and when it comes to the music, he hears something else that we don't hear, and then he creates that. So he's currently producing his own. He wants to be. His first name's Dennis, so he's Dennis Brown II.
Okay.
But he wants to be known as Jason Brown also, not just Dennis Brown's son. Right. So he's kind of taken his own route of music, and then we'll gel in Dad.
So he's your big brother then?
Yeah, he's a year older than me. I'm the youngest of 5. So Daniel's the eldest. He moved to Jamaica when he was 18, so he lived with my dad. So obviously when Dad did pass, he stayed here, Jamaica, but then he moved to London. So he's kind of back and forth touring and stuff like that. But more or less Daniel was the one that kind of sculpted Dad and was representing on behalf of the family to keep Dad's legacy going.
Good. Yes, Marla, you were saying?
I feel for me, the main reason why I wanted to do a tribute album, because I feel my generation don't know enough about Dad and his contribution to music. And obviously as music evolves, you kind of need to know your history and you need to know your roots. And I feel that with reggae, people do kind of grasp on it on their music journey and their albums. So reggae is always there, it's always relevant. And to me, you can't be relevant if you don't know about Dennis Brown, because his contribution was out of this world. And for me now, at the age that I'm at now, I'm able to learn and understand it more as I grow. And I just want everyone to know, I need to word it correctly. I just want them to learn and appreciate and love Dad for what he kind of gave everyone, because that's all he wanted to give was love. And that's why I respect him so much, because that's what I'm about too. And I want to live in love, and I want everyone to know that there are people out there that just love to sing. It's not all about making hit records or selling out stadiums. Dad did all of that, but it was never on the top of his mind. He just wanted to sing, and I want people to see that it's natural to just sing and enjoy it and embrace that. And the more I the more that I kind of interact with a lot of people in this industry, they do tell me how great Dad is, but there's so much more that Dad has. That he has over like 500 albums, 500 singles, 50 albums. But there's still more, and because he's left that, I kind of feel that I should push it out, you know. His talent is just there's no words. It's endless.
Do you think at the time of his passing that he was content with his achievements, or do you think that he felt that he needed more time to really produce more stuff?
I actually wanted to ask my dad that before he died. I actually rang him the day before he died, just to banter. But those are the kind of questions that I wanted to ask also, because being in London, we don't know a lot about reggae, and I travel a lot, and the reggae influence is crazy, and to not have that at home, I'd like to know why, because obviously people only know Dad, for me, from what I learned, was through Money in My Pocket, which was on Top of the Pops. But there's so much more. And he's had so many, like, when I was in Jamaica in October, they had Dad on the radio religiously. They did not repeat one song. That just shows that the catalogue is just humongous.
Is that because they knew you were coming?
No.
You sure?
Positive. Even they didn't know when I was leaving, they still played it. Even one time, the year before, I talked to my dad a lot at his grave, and I was quite annoyed at him. Had a bit of an argument, a silent argument, and when I was leaving, there was a song that was playing in the airport as you walked to the gate, and I was like, Dad's talking to me, he heard me. So I kind of talked to him through song. And I hear more songs that haven't been released or that haven't been heard as much, and I feel that I can push that out. And that's what I want to do, just keep Dad's legacy going.
In closing, you know, there's been a lot of talk about Lovers Rock and how it has affected the Caribbean and its origins and all of that. Was your dad a lover of Lovers Rock?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
Most of his music was predominantly Lovers Rock.
Okay.
That's how he started out, and that's how he got recognised. So you can't have reggae without Lovers Rock.
Interesting combination. I'd never seen the two like that. I thought they were one, special in their own right. But
in this day and age, the influences come from any genre. As long as you make magic, that's all that matters.
Okay. Any parting words for us, Marla?
Just keep appreciating Dad. I know you'll do. It's nice to be recognised and to see that people still embrace his music, and just, if you can, just let people know, keep his music going, his legacy, and just love his music.
Okay. Thank you very much, Marla. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much for having me.